Africa Imbibes. What am I talking about? Africa? Thirsty for growth, liquor giant Diageo taps poor markets with liquor. Liquor. What are we talking about? Well, in Africa and certain countries, they're drinking chenga. Don't know what it tastes like, but I'm kind of curious. It's made out of molasses and mass grain liquor. And they'll sell 500 milliliters, so that's a pretty good sized bottle, for $1. That is some cheap liquor. Questionable legality, but tolerated for now. Meanwhile, Diageo comes in and says, I'm going to sell Jebel Gold for 10 cents for a 30 milliliter tot. A tot is a short shot. Usual shot is 50 milliliters, so this is a short shot. You can do the math. To get up to $1, you get 300 milliliters. So it's more, if you compare it against Chenga, Diageo's Jebel Gold is definitely priced higher. How do you justify a higher price? Alternative, better, worse, do they care? They got to make them care. How are they going to do this? Now, Diageo is 25% of the legal liquor stores in Africa. They've made $1 billion of investments just in the last 5 years. They are piling in heavy on the idea that Africans like liquor. In contrast, you got Pernod Ricard, 3% market share, Brown Forman, less than 2%, same with Bacardi, a Remy Control, very small market share. So Diageo is making a big bet on Africa, on the idea that they will drink Diageo liquor, even if it's priced higher than the local competitors. Now, how do you beat a local competitors? How do you take that much of the legal liquor store if you're a global brand of Diageo? I mean, they sell some premier liquors. Well, they changed their offering. They started to focus on some localization of stuff. I mean, Jebel Gold. In the Western world, do we ever have Jebel Gold? I don't think so. And localization is going to be important for Diageo. Now, Africa isn't one country, it's 54 countries. And even in one country, it isn't just one country, it's 67 different dialects and languages. We're talking about extreme diversity impact into a very small, well, a good-sized continent, but even a single country. Huge diversity. How do you reach this? Well, Diageo is doing radio advertising in 67 different dialects just in Kenya. Then they're also going with Ghana. You'd think maybe it's a Muslim country. They wouldn't drink so much. Yeah, okay. Nigeria, Uganda, Mozambique. Across the continent, people are buying into this Diageo offering. 25% of the legal liquor stores sales by Diageo. Now, how are they doing this? Well, you take a look at their cost structure. They're used to do Jebel in plastic pouches. Keep it really cheap. Don't bother with glass. Just give you a plastic pouch. Unfortunately, people did not see that as very hygienic, so they didn't like it. So they switched to Jebel Gold, and they shipped it in kegs, and that alleviated some of the concerns about hygiene on their liquor. When it came to delivery, they did motorbike delivery. Forget this huge truck, we're going to do it in a motorbike. And when they look at distillation, 80 by 40 foot container ship is their distillation plant. And it costs them about $3 million a pop. A standard liquor plant is $45 million. So they're changing the way they produce. They're making it more flexible. They're putting it into a container ship. They're moving that container around. They're just making it in a container. They're moving that container around according to where the supply is. They're putting it very local. They're delivering by. That is huge change for a global liquor producer. Small batches, local languages. What's going on? I'm reminded of Sun Tzu. There are not more than 5 primary colors: blue, yellow, red, white, and black. Yes, we can argue about his definition of color versus the Western definition of color, but we're going to let that go. Sun Tzu is quite dead. In combination, they produce more hues that can ever be seen. Now, his point is still accurate. There's only so many strategies and tactics one can take. But the combination, that relearning, that is infinite. To capture these new opportunities, Diageo took up the mandate. They learned new behaviors. Learn more. Value-based pricing and corporate strategy. Choose a day of courses, choose them all. Chicago, 16th through 20th of November.